What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In this video today, I'm finally bringing you guys yet another legend concept video. It's actually been a pretty long time on the channel since you guys would have seen this, and I'm sure that there's people out there that have no idea what the hell this series is about. So for those of you who don't know, this is where I come up with my own concept of a character that could arrive as a legend in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now, of course, this is all my personal opinions, and you know, these effects might seem overpowered, they might seem underpowered. As of course, you know, leave your opinions down below in the comment section and what you guys think about this Sugo Fest exclusive Kuma. In my personal opinion, I think it's one of the best concepts that I've personally created on the channel thus far. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. And before we get into this, I do want to say that the artwork for this character was from an older One Piece game called One Piece Adventure Log that is no longer active, just in case if anyone was wondering where this specific artwork actually came from. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the showcase of Concept Kuma. So let me introduce to you guys my concept of a Sugo Fest exclusive Kuma. This character is a quick powerhouse cerebral character. For his limit break abilities, we'll go over them very briefly because we won't really talk about them too much, but in my opinion, I gave him dex damage reduction by 7%. He also has a critical hit chance of 90% chance for 9% extra damage, and orb bind reduction where he either will remove it completely, which would be super ideal, or he just removes it by like 10 turns or something like that. Now, as for this character, you might see something straight away that you may not have seen before on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global, and that is the super type functionality. Now yes, this is not available currently on Global. This is only a thing that has been happening recently on Japan with the release of the 6th anniversary, Snakeman, Blackbeard, Katakuri, Sabo, and also with Hawkins and Kid, introducing a new mechanic called super typing. For those of you who have no idea what super typing is, it is essentially an added special effect that the character is able to activate as long as they fulfill a certain condition, and on top of that, it also gives a certain attribute of characters on your crew enhanced color affinity, which is pretty much what it is. Now, let's go ahead and break down every single part of this character throughout this concept. So let's talk about, first of all, the captain effect. So the captain effect of this Kuma will boost quick character's attack by 4 times, and then boost all other types by 3.75 times, and then also will boost quick character's attack by a further 1.06 times for every consecutive perfect. It also will make your crew's dex and recovery slots have matching slot effects and reduce damage take by 20%. So it may seem a little weird that I opted to go for a color-based captain, but for those of you who would understand what this super typing is all about, you mainly want to be running a color-based team, and ideally a color-based team mainly utilizing one specific color. And by incorporating the quick type into his captain effect, that's going to be the best case scenario, because currently on Japan side of things, as of me recording this video, there are only super types for strength, int, and also dex, and there is a free-to-play Psy super type captain as well. There is no quick super types yet as of me recording this video, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to introduce a legend Kuma that is able to provide that. Now, you may think that a character that only starts off at a 4 times and then gets a little bit of a boost every time you hit a perfect may be a bit annoying, and to some people that might be a little frustrating, but as we go through the rest of this specific unit, you'll understand how this character is able to make that work. Now, as for the character's actual multipliers, obviously starts off at a 4 times boost, but then every single perfect you get stronger, so it goes to 4.24 times, then a 4.49, then a 4.76, and then the 5th unit that attacks gets a 5.04 times multiplier, and then the last unit to attack gets a multiplier of 5.35. Now, this might seem absurdly strong for people on Global, but in terms of the Japanese meta, this actually fits in perfectly, honestly. This actually fits in perfectly with the rest of the characters that have been released recently. And of course, with the rest of his captain effect, he's able to boost all other colors by 3.75. They do not get the boost of 1.06 per perfect you hit. They will only maintain 3.75, but the quick units will get the enhanced attack multiplier with every perfect that you hit. Also making dex and recovery beneficial. Dex specifically is really nice, so your quick units will never have a non-beneficial slot, unless if they they get a block orb specifically, and also recovery slots counted as beneficial is also just an added bonus. And then also having some tankiness to give you 20% damage reduction. I was contemplating giving him potentially every time you hit a perfect, you get recovery back. That is also something else that I was thinking about, but I think in terms of overall tankiness, I think having the 20% damage reduction is just a little bit more viable in my personal opinion. And now moving on to Kuma's special effect. His special effect will max down at a 14 turn cooldown, and it will go ahead and change all of your crew slots, including block, into matching, and also gives your entire team a 1.0 chain boost for 1 turn. So that's a pretty nice added effect. But then he has a very unique effect here at the end of his special, and this is the type of special that I really wanted to incorporate to Legend Kuma. So it states that for 1 turn, the turn you activate the special, he will instantly defeat all enemies with HP equal to or lower than 10% or 0.1 times the damage dealt from your normal attacks during this turn. So just to give you guys a little bit of a view of this, hypothetically, if you activate the special and you deal 20 million damage, at the end of that turn, he's going to kill all enemies that have 10% of that damage dealt from your normal attacks. So if you do 20 million damage, he's going to KO all enemies with 2 million or less HP. So this is actually pretty good because not only does it get around like really annoying fodder, but it also can get through resilience as well. If you knock down an enemy down to that 1 HP for their resilience, this will also instantly knock them out. This is a pretty nice effect, and I think that Kuma would be a perfect candidate to apply this type of effect to. Of course, it's not going to be useful all the time, but in certain situations, this is going to be extremely powerful to have. And in Kizuna Clash, for example, like if you're doing, 100 million or 150 million damage, you can KO a lot of enemies with that. And especially if like you get the boss really, really close to death, but you just didn't have enough damage output to kill them, this could potentially help you out in finishing off the boss for you, which is very, very nice. So now let's talk about this brand new mechanic that I mentioned at the start of the video, his super typing. So for Kuma, his special typing condition, so the condition that you have to fulfill in order to activate his super type is you have to launch his special at least 1 time. As soon as you launch the special, your super typing will become active. Now in order to activate your super type, obviously for those who don't know, you have to swipe down on a character, kind of like a captain action or you're switching with a dual unit. That is how you activate the super typing. Now the actual special effect that you get when you activate the super typing, it states that for 1 turn, your crew's normal attacks will ignore all enemies' defensive effects. And it also reduces all enemies' HP by 10% that ignores all defensive effects as well. And then your quick characters will gain super typing to become super quick type characters, which will give them that enhanced color affinity. Now this actually makes perfect sense with the build that I've already stated previously, because this character wants to hit perfects consecutively. Now, what are certain things that are going to restrict him from doing that? Obviously, barriers are going to be a little bit of a problem, especially, ones with good or great barriers. Obviously, if you have the perfect debuff, that could also be an issue, but that's totally up to your playstyle. But barriers are going to be a little bit of an annoyance, and especially if you want to be dealing as much damage as possible whilst trying to activate that special ability to make sure that you can do as much damage as possible, make sure your cap is really high so that the special ability can potentially KO more enemies than you would really hope for. So enabling you to do that makes your normal attacks bypass all defensive effects, which would mean that in certain circumstances you don't need to bring barrier removal, you don't need to bring the specific threshold removal, you don't need to bring rainbow shield removers. This is going to be a pretty nice effect on boss stages with really annoying defensive effects. Now obviously this does not bypass the blue shield increased defense buff, but you will be able to bring other characters in order to fulfill that. And another quick character that's really, really good for that could be like V2 Nami, for example. That could be a fantastic character to add to this. And especially when you activate the special ability to launch your super type, not only are you getting this effect to bypass all defensive effects with your normal attacks, you also get that health cut. And the thing is, super type special effects do not activate enemy interrupts. So you're getting an HP cut that goes through all defensive effects that does not activate enemy interrupts. This is going to be extremely powerful. And of course, once you do activate that special, you get a full board of matching slots, and you get a 1.0 chain boost as well. So this is a pretty well packaged unit that's it's going to be able to deal a pretty serious amount of damage output, especially against strength enemies with having type advantage and also super typing for the enhanced color affinity. Yeah, this is pretty monstrous. And then briefly going over his other two effects here. So he's got a crewmate ability, or two crewmate abilities. The first one stating that he reduces his own special charge time by 1 turn every time another character uses a special, and also has the added effect of resisting the blow away mechanic. So being able to reduce his own special cooldown is pretty useful to have, pretty reminiscent of Legend Cracker, I suppose. So this is a really nice mechanic. He does have a 14 turn cooldown, which isn't super duper high, and this is obviously with fully maxed out Limit Break expansion, of course. So 14 turn cooldown is not overly high, but having the capabilities to just reduce it whenever you want is actually pretty good. And obviously resisting blow away, I think that kind of makes sense for this character, honestly. And then the final effect that I want to talk about in this video is his support effect. I didn't really make it too crazy, but it could be used in pretty niche situations to help out your team a lot. So the support effect for Bartholomew Kuma, it will only attach to other quick units, and it states that once per quest, if the supported character is inflicted with special rewind, changes quick character slots into quick. Now, this may seem pretty good, and honestly it is pretty good, but obviously there is a pretty strong condition that is attached to that, where you have to make sure that that character that gets hit has special rewind inflicted to them, and also it doesn't get rid of block orb, so it's not super duper overpowered. But in certain situations, this can enable you to get through content just a little bit easier, granting some beneficial slots to your quick characters, which is pretty nice. And that just about does it. That is the full breakdown of my concept of SugoFest exclusive Legend Bartholomew Kuma. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys have any thoughts and opinions about this one, let me know down below in the comment section. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button if you did enjoy it, as this video does take a pretty long time to put together, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you go ahead and do that, guys, because we are really close to 50,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. That would be absolutely epic if we're able to reach that really cool milestone. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.